Hello, everyone, and welcome to Self Love You. This is Jenna Ryan, and this audio today is going to be about creating the life that you want to live and having the relationships that you want to have. A lot of the things that I talk about on this channel are about toxic relationships and coming out of them and recognizing them and beginning to understand your worth and your value. And part of that needs to include a level of self-reflection and creation of the life and relationships that you do want. It's not always about what you don't want. If you focus on the problem too much, then you're going to just pull more of the problem to yourself, because energetically, if you're embroiled in the problem, you're going to repeat the problem. And so while it's important to recognize the issues in your life, it's also important to project what you want forward and to begin to get a vision for what it is that you want. And this is, you could call it the law of attraction. You could call it, speak those things that are not as though they were. The Bible says the faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So a lot of times if we are used to, or if we're patterned, if our relationship patterns are negative, we will continue along that pattern because we don't know any different. And it's very difficult to see ourselves in any other situation except a negative situation. So we just go through the negative way because that's what feels comfortable. Even though it may be painful, we just continue to seek out relationships that are unhealthy or allow relationships in our lives that are toxic. And then at least we know what toxicity is. At least we can, claim it. We can see what it is. But that's no way to live. That's not a good way to continue, because toxic relationships will drain you. So what you want to do is get into relationships that are fulfilling and lovely. This may take some healing on your part. I know it did for me. It takes healing. You have to heal inside, and you have to realize who you are, and you have to say no to things that are negative and hello and yes to things that are positive. And it may feel uncomfortable at first to be in a positive situation. If you don't have all the tension of toxicity, it may feel uncomfortable. And it may even feel like it's wrong. And you may feel like the toxic relationships with the narcissist are the right thing. That may feel like love to you, but you just have to retrain your mind that no, that is not what love is. Love is not toxic. Love is not pain. Love is not having someone cheat on you, lie to you, abuse you, use you, exploit you, play games with you, triangulate you. That's not love. Love is giving. Love is receiving. Love is growing. True love is not necessarily exciting in terms of that fearful anxiety type of feeling that you would have with someone who's toxic, but it's more of a relaxed and comfortable feeling of someone who's stable, someone you can count on. If you've never been able to count on anyone, it may feel unusual to be with someone you can count on. And that's where self-love comes in. That's where you have to love yourself enough to allow yourself to be loved. Love yourself enough to receive stability and comfort and what you want in this world. And the first thing is you have to begin to visualize and envision yourself in an entirely new dimension. If you're coming out of an abusive relationship, you have to that's your identity. Your identity is the one who's either being abused or been abused, and you have to begin to reformulate an identity of someone who is loved, loving, lovable, valued, appreciated, treated with respect and honor. And then you have to see yourself, literally see yourself in that type of relationship, doing the things that you want to do to progress your life forward, enjoying your life in a happy situation, in a joyful situation, in a mutual, equal, balanced relationship where you are able to focus on yourself and, still continue to grow as an individual, and where you're able to share your best qualities and you're not continually subserviating yourself. Is that a word? No, it's not. I don't think so. You're not continually putting your needs beneath someone else's needs, but you're actually assertively asserting your needs, and you're being conscientious of the other person's needs, and you're not trying to get your worth from the other person. You're not trying to value yourself based upon your relationship status, but you're actually you feel worthy in and of yourself. So you're not trying to get worth from someone who is outside of yourself, external validation, because you're validating yourself within. You're not trying to prove yourself to anyone. You're not trying to do the repetition compulsion where you're trying to get someone, trying to squeeze blood out of a turnip, trying to get someone who is originally rejecting you to change their mind, trying to replay those childhood patterns. But instead, you allow that whatever happened to you in childhood to exist within you, and you integrate it into your emotional and physical self. You integrate the pain and the grief that you had to endure, and you move forward knowing that that's what happened to you, but that's who made you who you are. And now you can see clearly that that's not what you want, and you want something different for yourself, something nourishing, something that feeds you, something that you can contribute, and that can start from a whole new set of starting points and a whole new level, on a whole new plane. So think of it as there's different dimensions to existence, to consciousness. And, you've got a lower level of despair, the emotional despair, toxicity, triangulation, exploitation. That's on the bottom level. Let's say the very bottom level is like being physically abused. You're a domestic violence. And then a little bit higher than that would be toxicity, would be, emotional abuse, would be, just pain and continuing to stay with someone who is not healthy, or continuing to seek out people that are not healthy. That's another level of consciousness. But I'm talking about a higher level of consciousness above all of that, where you can actually see yourself and create for yourself a life of pleasure and a life of happiness. This doesn't mean you will always be happy. It doesn't mean that everything will always be perfect, but that is what, you're striving for, a higher level of communication, a higher level of need fulfillment, a higher level of existence, and a higher level of consciousness. So below you will be all the narcissists, the psychopaths, and people that are dealing with those things. That's below. You're looking down and you can see, okay, I can see that person has some issues with narcissistic wounding, and I'm not really going to engage in this. Or I can be kind and I can be, benevolent, but I don't have to get involved. I'm not going to go, if you meet someone that you can tell has a lot of lower level experiences and they're stuck in that level, you don't have to go there. You can stay higher. Now, you may go, You may help, you may heal, you may be there as a resource to help people rise out of that level of consciousness, but you can go higher. You can go to a higher place, and then you can go higher and higher. Really, it's infinite how high you can go with your life, because we are co-creators of our experience, and what is on the inside of us will manifest on the outside. And if you are allowing negative treatment in your life, then that is your cross to bear. That is something that you need to deal with and heal from and grow from, and then begin to create. Literally, you have to create an identity for yourself out of nothing, using visualization, really getting a clear picture of where you want to be relationally and physically in all manners. How do you want to live your life? How do you want your relationship to feel? And you have to start to feel those feelings before you can manifest it. You have to begin to see yourself in situations that are happy and pleasant, because your mind, the subconscious mind, doesn't know whether it's really happening or not. If you read the book Think and Grow Rich, or any of those books that talk about visualization and creating your own reality, or listen to Abraham Hicks, The Law of Attraction, you begin to get in the feeling state of where you want to be. Not where you don't want to be, but where you want to be. And take the focus off the negative and put the focus on the positive. And be glad that you have the contrast of what has happened to you in the past, that negative relationship. Be grateful that you know what you don't want, because that creates more desire in the direction of what you do want. And the more that you're able to define what you do want and stay in the place of creating your own life, the more chance you're going to have to reach it. Also, we become really tied to our reality. And in my work with core beliefs and negative core beliefs and overcoming negative core beliefs using cognitive behavioral therapy, people will try to be right even if it's negative for them. So the brain is wired to be right. So if you think negatively about yourself and relationships and others in the world, then your brain is going to only look for proof of that the world is negative and life sucks and that you suck. It's only going to give you data that confirms your already held negative belief, false belief. So what you have to do is physically, literally, manually, using your own ability, your own will to change the patterns of your thought processes, you come in and recreate neural pathways to pleasure, to good things, to happy relationships. And a lot of times we get tied to the identity of pain, hurt, toxic relationships, because that's all we know. And we hold on to our identity at all costs, even if it costs our happiness and joy and pleasure and so many things in life. So I'm here to say that you don't have to stay tied to that identity. You have to begin to break free of that skin and shed that skin of negativity and relational discord, and begin to plant seeds of faith in what you do want, and begin to think upon it. What do you want? How do you want to feel in a relationship? And as you begin to lay new pipes, which is an Abraham Hicks quote, lay new pipes, which means to get into the feeling state of where you want to be, and begin to practice the feeling state of where you want to be in relationship, then you begin to create that which you want, because the neural pathways are developed. Because our brains are plastic, which means our brains, they have found through recent research, they have found that the brain can actually create new neural pathways and can grow and can overcome challenges even in your senior years. So you're not stuck, and if you're able to understand that you can create new neural pathways. You don't have to change the old neural pathways, because that's not a good idea. Just let those pathways stay and create new pathways that are more beneficial, that are more healthy, that are more nourishing and loving and good towards you. This has to be an active process of letting go of what is behind. And I hate to say the word letting go, because I've found in my healing journey, you really don't want to let go of yourself in any way. You want to integrate. I like the word integrate rather than letting go. Because if you let go, who knows where you're going to go? You need to love on those parts of yourself that are in pain, or have been in pain, or have been hurt. You need to love on those parts and integrate. Don't let them go. Don't let yourself go. Hold on to yourself and integrate that whatever patterning into who you are, but really focus less on the negative and more on the positive. And so that is what I have to say about creating a life and relationships that you want. I hope you enjoyed this audio. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share for more videos coming soon. Talk to you soon. Bye.